All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Everyone calm down. Everyone calm down. 2 streams in 1 day, and they kind of ruined the video that I recorded earlier because I recorded a freaking Banlist prediction. What was I thinking? Thinking I could upload that on the YouTube channel, but there's a Banlist. It dropped 18 o'clock. I wasn't sure if I was expecting one because they dropped all the last Banlists during YCS streams. But I'm honestly very happy. I'm very, very happy to see that they are not just always, that they're not sticking to that thing like forever, right? Like I think there's some times where you just need to drop the ban list before the YCSs are happening. And I think this is definitely one of those cases if the ban list is actually good. So let's take a look at it in a second. But I mean, I haven't seen it yet. All I've seen is the preview pictures because there's always one big card on each of the tiles. So like I've seen the freaking the glow up bulb here. And I've also seen the one that's the banned card, but we're gonna start with the unlimits in a second. What do I want from this list? I mean, we literally had, if you were here earlier, we literally had a ban list discussion today on stream, which I was planning to upload on YouTube, but you know, instead I can upload the actual ban list reaction, so I guess that's good. And I'm really happy that we get one before YCS Lil. It's gonna make things so much more exciting. But let's see exactly how exciting it's gonna be because it depends a lot on this ban list. So let's see, unbans first. We have Glow Up Bulb, absolutely fine. Masterpiece, absolutely fine. Morphing Jar, absolutely fine. Phantom Sky Blaster, I had no idea that thing was on the ban list. Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eyes Poplar, can't really argue with that with the current situation that Snake Eye is in. Unironically though, you might still see those in some decks, but still without original Sinful Spoils, you can't really bridge them into anything, so I suppose it's fine. Dragonic Diagram, sure. Lightning Storm is actually relevant. I think Lightning Storm to 3 is very strong, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with this one, but sure, I'm not like mad about it. I think the difference between 2 and 3 Lightning Storms is kind of negligible because there's also cards like Feather Duster that can be used instead. So Lightning Storm, good card though. Zodiac Barrage absolutely deserves to be at 3. I wonder if they also bring back Dryden together with it. The fact that Dryden was still banned in TCG is actually criminal. So nothing bad here, honestly. All reasonable things, just decluttering the ban list, you know. But as always with this ban list, the things that matter the most is the things that are going onto the ban list because that's what matters the most. So let me slide over here into the semi-limits. Branded Fusion. Sure, I guess. This is another card moving off of the ban list. It's going from 1 to 2. I guess maybe in anticipation of the new branded structure deck thingy. Sure, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. All right, let me see some limits. That's a lot of limits. Oh god, that's a lot of limits. Okay, X-Triziel, good. I was asking for that in my ban list video earlier. That's good. I mentioned that. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. Malice P Dormouse as well, and a consistency hit to Malice. This depends a lot on if they ban anything for Malice, but I'm happy to see that we only get small hits to Malice and Ryziel because the decks are already a little bit behind the current top tier decks. So Vanquish Soul Raisin. Oh, that's harsh. That's mean, dude. Vanquish Soul Raisin is early for that deck. Okay, I mean, sure. It hurts my soul, but I do understand. You know, K9 Vanquish Soul is really powerful, and the K9 cards are so new that they probably didn't want to hit them at all. Okay, I get it, but it's kind of sad. The problem is that Vanquish Soul suffers way more from this than K9. Because K9 you can still play with other decks, but Vanquish Soul you can't really make up the consistency of the Raisin. I think that's going to be a problem. And okay. Fiendsmith's Lacrima coming back with the time rule change, basically confirming the fact that they only banned it because of the 1200 burn. With the new time rules, I think this is absolutely fine. Actually, quite a fan of this change. Link Kuribo at 1 is a little surprising. I mean, with the reign of Snake Eye over, I guess I understand Probably a very good card to play in Yummy still, because it can prevent your opponent from running over some of your things. Like when you, like, let's say you summon a big monster and you're trying to attack over their Herald of Arclight, they can bring back Linkaribo, and that might be a problem. But okay, Yummy definitely will play Linkaribo. Summon Sorceress, somewhat irrelevant with the errata. Herald of the Arclight at 1 is also something I mentioned on my banlist discussion. I think taking Herald away completely was a little too harsh for Yummy, but they now can no longer make a second one if you manage to out the first one. So for all of the decks that struggle with Herald of Arclight, you can now use your battle phase to clear the Herald of the Arclight, and they cannot make another one in main phase 2. Like, for example, Draco Tail. Sometimes you would try to beat over the Herald in the battle phase, and then they make a second one in main phase 2, and you don't have a battle phase anymore, and you can't deal with that ever. So I think one Herald is a good way to do it, because it doesn't kill Yummy. Like, they can still play, they can still make Arclight, but they can't make a second one ever. So I think that's good. Zodiac Trident comes back. That's good. Not gonna do much, but good. Christian Inclusion. So we're not only hitting... This is a part of the ban list that I'm not a huge fan of. Like, yes, K9 Christian and K9 Vanquish Soul are probably too powerful right now. So I get it. I understand it. Like, I honestly... I don't hate the fact that they are hitting K9 Christian, and I don't hate the fact that they're hitting K9 Vanquish Soul, but I don't like that the cards that are suffering, or like the decks that are suffering from the K9 cards' existence are Vanquish Soul and Christian. Both Vanquish Soul and Christian, in my opinion, were fair decks before the K9 cards came out. So honestly, I think it's a little sad to see both of those decks get hit because K9 exists, right? Like, they should have probably just been more careful with the restrictions on K9. Like, K9 they should have made sure K9 is like somewhat like locked to exceeds or something, and we wouldn't have this problem. Once again, another lesson in card design. Both Vanquish Soul and K9 and Christian are suffering because they weren't careful with K9 design, which is unfortunate. Yeah. Obedience Schooled as well. Dude, they are going harder on the Justice Hunters deck than I was anticipating. Herald of Arclight to 1, and Obedience School to 1, and Stake Your Soul, and Raisin. Okay, I mean, look, this is the thing, right? They get a lot of shit for being too slow with their hits, right? And I've been saying this in the past. Sometimes they are a little slow on hitting top tier decks. And everyone is like, oh, Konami needs to make money. That's why they're never banning the new stuff. They're always just hitting the old stuff, never the new stuff. They are hitting the currently best decks out of Justice Hunters. Vanquish Soul, K9, and Yummy, basically the top 2 decks, and they haven't been out for a long time. I mean, the Vanquish Soul cards have been out for a little bit, but like, you know, they are actually doing something about them, which I think is fine. I think Yummy walks away from this much better than Vanquish Soul, because Yummy can replace the Obedience Schooled. Now, don't get me wrong, Obedience Schooled is one of the most powerful cards in Yummy. It's super hard to stop the deck if they have Obedience Schooled, but you can play other starters. Like, you can replace, like, you can play Sky Striker Engine, Piri Rise Map. You get a new main deck name after Doom of Dimensions as well. So, like, the deck is going to be fine. Vanquish Soul suffers a lot here. I think Vanquish Soul might be dead, which is a little sad. 1 Raisin, 1 Stake Your Soul is harsh. That's rough. It really is. Solemn Judgment to 1 is something I agree with, to be honest with you. I wasn't gonna be mad if they didn't do this. I didn't mention it in my banlist prediction, but now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, I'm not mad about that. Solemn Judgment has been the go-to side deck card for a lot of people, just for going first. When, you know, like, oh, I have 3 Fubas in my main deck, so let me just put 3 Solemns, 3 Judgments in my side deck. And then sometimes you would try to, like, hand trap the opponent, and then 1 Judgment would stop your turn, and it all felt like it didn't matter. I would have rather seen, I mean, look, I guess we're getting to the ban section. Maybe they banned some floodgates, but I think I would rather play against 3 Solemn Judgment than I would play against Solemn Judgment, Rivalry, Gozen type stuff, you know, but sure. Solemn Solemn Judgment to 1, I think, is warranted. I don't actually hate this. Okay. Bans. I mean, I saw the Paradise Smasher on the preview image, so that was... Honestly, if they made a ban list right now without Paradise Smasher on it, I couldn't even imagine the backlash. That would have been so crazy. Let's look at the other ones. Moon of the Closed Heaven. I did say that. I mean, everyone's been saying this for months now. Every single ban list prediction I said, get rid of Moon because Fiendsmith should require light Fiends. You should be able to make Fiendsmith, like the Fiendsmith engine is fine, but not if you can do it in every single combo deck. Not every single combo deck should be able to make a Caesar to play through Nibiru, basically, right? And so Moon being gone, good riddance. Very good riddance. Splash Mage is something I've also been asking for. Dude, this is dangerously close to what people are gonna say. People are gonna say I had inside info, which I did not, I promise. I've just been making good suggestions, I feel like. I've just been making good suggestions, okay? You can't hate on them for being based, all right? Also, if I made this list, do you really think there was no floodgates on this ban list? You guys know there would be rivalry, there can be only one, and so on. Those would all be on here. Those would all be on here, and you know that's true. Flash Mage is a good hit. Like I said, literally, let me repeat what I said earlier in my ban list discussion, where I actually did the exact same thing. I banned Splash Mage, and I limited Dormouse in my prediction, because if you want to hit Malice in any other way, you have to ban, like, one of the extra deck monsters. You have to ban Whitebinder, you have to ban Ransom or whatever, and that's rough. Like, that kills the deck. And I honestly, even as the biggest Malice hater, I did not think the deck deserved to get completely killed. I think losing Splash Mage is good, because now you can replace Splash Mage. It's not that hard. You can replace Splash Mage with something like SP or Haggard Lizardos, but that makes your lines worse, because then you have to banish your Malice name, which means it uses up one of your once per turn clauses, right? And so instead of just reviving it for free, you actually have to use one of your once per turn effects. And also Splash Mage in general, even outside of Malice, it's always been a cringe card. Link Climbing has always been cringe. I know Cyber's haters, Cyber's Andes are not going to like that I'm saying this, but Splash Mage was never a well-designed card. It was always cringe. Because, like, 2 monsters on the board, you make Splash Mage, you bring something back, you make Transcode, you bring something back, all of a sudden you have, like, a Link 5. Like, it was never good design. And King of the Feral Imps. So we have a Mitsurugi hit here, and that's an important one because it eliminates Mitsurugi Ryzeal a lot of the time as like a combination, because you no longer can search the Mitsurugi cards. No other Mitsurugi cards on here, which I, as a pure Mitsurugi enjoyer, I think that's good. Okay. Whew. All right. Oh, let me sort my thoughts real quick. My first impression is good. My first impression is positive. Number one, my first thought is I am very happy that we are getting a ban list before YCS Lil. I was not looking forward to trying to prepare for a format with Paradise Smasher in it. Because, like I said, I've said it countless times over the last couple of days, board breakers are really good in the current format, but freaking Paradise Smasher ruined board breaker decks, and it was just like, that was a problem. And now, without Paradise Smasher, you can actually maybe break Yummy boards, you can break K9 boards, because they cannot Paradise Smasher you, and that's good. So that's number one. I'm really happy about that. Number two, I am pretty pleased with the amount of hits to Mitsurugi, Ryzeal, and Malice. I think all of those decks, Ryzeal is not dead, because like X Ryzeal, you go from 2 X Ryzeal to 1 X Ryzeal. You can hypothetically still play Ryzeal Onomat, Ryzeal, what's it called, Heraldic, like those decks still alive. Oh, no Protoss. Why is there no Protoss? Okay, I'm unhappy about no Protoss. That's crazy. So most likely, I think Ryzeal decks are probably just going to be Protoss decks now. That's definitely an oversight. That's potentially a big deal. That's not good. That's not good. That's kind of dumb. Okay, where was I? Other than that, I think eliminating the bridge between Ryziel and Mitsurugi is good because pure Mitsurugi was always a healthy deck. Pure Mitsurugi was always a healthy deck, never was a problem, always super based. So them leaving the Mitsurugi cards completely intact, I'm a big fan of that, which means that you can still play pure Mitsurugi, you just can't play Ryziel, Fiendsmith, Mitsurugi anymore, that type of stuff, you know, so that's good. Big fan of that. Malice also, once again, I'm not a Malice fan, but I didn't want them to completely kill the deck. I think Splash Mage ban and Malice Dormouse to 1 is a fair compromise because the deck is already, it was already not the best deck in the format. But if they are, think about it this way, right? If they are going to hit Vanquish Soul and Yummy, then they did have to hit Ryziel and Malice a little bit. Otherwise, we were just going to swap places again, right? People would have just gone back to pre-Justice Hunters, basically, right? They would have just started playing Malice and Ryziel again, and like just dropped the Justice Hunters decks, and that wasn't something obviously that should have happened. So I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of all the things that are coming back. That's fine with me. I am a little sad about the Vanquish Soul hits, I'm not gonna lie. Not just because I liked the deck, but also because I think pure Vanquish Soul was a fair deck. I personally think pure Vanquish Soul was fine. And I think, like I said earlier, the deck suffering just because K9 exists, I think is not fair. I mean, and life is not always fair, you know, it's kind of the thing, right? Like the fact is that it's just a matter of fact, like Vanquish Soul and Crystron, and the same goes for Crystron. I thought pure Crystron was also a pretty cool deck and didn't really deserve to suffer just because K9 came out, right? So, yeah. It topped too much and won Worlds. I mean, yeah, I understand that they wanted to hit K9 Vanquish Soul, right? But, like, it's weird because they're not hitting the K9 cards, which are the actual reason why the deck did too much. That's how I feel. I feel like both Crystron and Vanquish Soul were fine before K9, then K9 came out, was way too splashable, and now both Vanquish Soul and Crystron cards are being hit because K9 was released. In my opinion, that is just, it's poor design, right? I think they should have made sure K9 is not that splashable, and unfortunately, they weren't willing to hit any K9 cards early, and so they hit Vanquish Soul and Crystron. That is the only thing here that I'm not a fan of. Yeah. I think the Yummy hits are fine, actually. I think 1 Herald, 1 Obedience Schooled is actually, I think that's fair. I think the deck is still good. I think the deck is just a little less resilient. Like, Obedience Schooled was also like one of the craziest cards going second because you would just activate it and it was impossible for your opponent to clear all your bodies from it. But like, you can still play Yummy. You just have to replace the Obedience Schooled with other like starters, and those are going to be slightly worse, but still playable. Yeah. Okay. Overall, I would say a good ban list. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I'm taking 1 point off because it is missing Floodgates, including Protoss. That's definitely at least -1 point. I'm taking another point off because I am not a fan of like the exact way how they handled Vanquish Soul K9 and K9 Crystron. I'm gonna be honest with you, if you think K9 Crystron and K9 Vanquish Soul are a problem because of the K9 cards, just hit the K9 cards. Honestly, like, I feel like it's like a weird made up rule of like, those cards just came out, so we're not hitting them directly, right? We have to hit some older cards just because those cards are new. Like, yeah, I kind of get it, but come on, man. Like, the K9 engine is the reason why Vanquish Soul is unfair. It's not Raisin. It's not Stake Your Soul. Like, yeah, those cards are good, but Vanquish Soul, like, didn't deserve this. And neither did Crystron, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So that's like, that's the, so it's like a 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. Missing some Floodgates, missing Protoss. Not a fan of how they did Vanquish Soul and Crystron. Other than that, happy with it. Very happy that we got one in general. And so what's the situation now, right? Let's talk about this a little bit. I mean, Draco Tail walks away completely unbothered by this. Draco Tail is dude, I was thrown off because someone in chat said MD Banlist bigger than TCG, like greater than TCG Banlist, which is an insane take. That might be the stupidest thing someone in my chat has ever written, which is that's a high bar, but it might be up there. That's crazy. Anyways, moving on. I got one guide by that for a second. Draco Tail walks away from this pretty well, which I think is only fair because Draco Tail is also the deck that gets the weakest support in Doom of Dimensions, right? Like Yummy get like Obedience Schooled is the best way for Yummy to play going second, yada yada, but Yummy gets another extender in Doom of Dimension, another extender that is also just another name, so it works as a starter. Like I would not be surprised if you just replace the Obedience Schooled with the extra copies of Marshmallow and it's just completely fine, right? So Yummy is fine. I think K9 will probably try to find like other shells. I think K9 Vanquish Soul is not that good anymore with one Raise and one Stake Your Soul. Like I played the deck at 2 regionals and I felt like my biggest problem already was drawing access to the Vanquish Soul engine. I cannot imagine playing that deck with one Raise and one Stake Your Soul. I really cannot. I think at that point you're better off pairing K9 with other decks like K9 Draco Tail. K9 Crystron could honestly still be fine with one inclusion. Could still see that. K9 Memento can be a thing. Like, there's probably some ways you can play K9. But, like, I think K9 Vanquish Soul, I personally wouldn't play it. Maybe people are saying K9 Orchest. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if there's something to be cooked up with the K9 cards. My gut feeling is there's probably something broken you can do with K9 after this ban list. Draco Tail is definitely a big winner because Herald is now at 1, which makes the Yummy matchup a lot easier because as long as you can out one Herald, they cannot make a second one, so you can play freely, so that makes it really good. And you still get a little bit of support from, what's it called, from Doom of Dimension. Then we have Fiendsmith decks now are actually going to have to be Fiendsmith decks because no Moon, so that's good. Pure Mitsurugi is something you could take a look at, unironically. You know, you can't get Paradise Smashed, so maybe like a board breaker approach with Pure Mitsurugi where you just Raigeki their board with Murakumo. Like, unironically, Murakumo is pretty good against Yummy. Lunalight is a deck that also walks away completely unhit here. The problem with Lunalight has a weird dynamic where Lunalight really enjoys being like an under the radar type of deck, right? Lunalight really enjoys being somewhere in that tier 2 category and no one is really respecting it. If one of the main takeaways from this ban list is like, oh, Lunalight is a thing now, then people are gonna really prepare for Lunalight and then it might fall off again. So it might be like a thing where in the beginning people think Lunalight is a thing now and that's why people prepare for it and then it doesn't actually see some success and then people drop the Lunalight hate and then you might be able to play it. So it depends, but Lunalight definitely completely unhit, so that is interesting. Yeah, no, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to start cooking for YCS Lil now. I have a regional tomorrow and it's using the old ban list because it's effective from Monday. And now I'm kind of annoyed by that. I'm kind of annoyed by the fact that I'm playing a regional tomorrow and it's not using this ban list. But I guess I get it. You know, it would be very, very short notice if everyone had to like change decks for tomorrow. But still, I wish I could already play it tomorrow. But no, overall, I'm feeling pretty positive about this one. My guess is for YCS Lil, let me just put my thoughts together. Yummy definitely still good. Draco Tail might be actually a top tier deck now. Like it was always behind the others a little bit. Maybe now it overtakes. Like honestly, you might see a couple of K9 brews for sure. You might see some what's it called? Lunalights. You might see some Sky Striker. Did I mention Pure Mitsurugi yet? I think Pure Mitsurugi is also fine. We'll see. Mitsurugi Ryzeal is still strong. I don't know if you want to play Mitsurugi Ryzeal together anymore because they have no more synergies, right? Like you don't really have... I guess the Mitsurugi cards can still make duo drive, but the Ryzeal cards can no longer access the Mitsurugi cards. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Ryzeal Zodiac? Ryzeal Zodiac is not a thing. I don't think that's ever a thing. Well, yeah, good list. Happy with it. Isn't Linkuriboh kind of scary for Yami? I think Linkuriboh is something I wouldn't have done. But I guess maybe their thought process is they're taking away Herald, they're taking away Herald and Obedience Schooled from Yami. I mean, not completely, but both to one. So they're trying to give them something back instead. Maybe that's the thought process. I think Linkuriboh existing makes Herald of the Arclight a pretty big problem in Yami, right? Because if you go battle phase to attack over it, they just summon Linkuriboh back, and now you can't attack over it, and that's kind of annoying. So we'll see how that plays out. I can guarantee you Yami is going to play Linkuriboh. Yami is going to play Linkuriboh and probably always make it on turn 1 to make their stuff harder to attack over, which is a significant buff for Yami. So I would not count Yami out just because Obedience School is limited. Yeah. Orcust will be pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? There's more decks you can definitely play around with now, because I think what this ban list does is it doesn't eliminate any of the decks that exist at the moment, right? And I think that's why overall I think it's a good ban list. Even though there are flaws with it, there are things that I would have done differently. There are things that I think they missed, like Protoss or whatever. This ban list doesn't kill any deck except for Vanquish Soul, I think. I think Vanquish Soul is dead, which is sad. But like, you can still play Canine Brews, you can still play Yummy, you can still play Draco Tail, of course, you can still play Malice, you can still play Ryzeal. It just closes the gap between those decks and like the rest of the field, right? Whether it's the Orcust decks or the Gem Knight decks, like all the Battles of Legends stuff, whether it's your Luna Light, your Sky Striker, whatever, all of those decks get closer to the top, or like the top gets closer to the rest of the field, basically. Which I think ultimately should have been the goal of this ban list, right? So it's good. It's good. And then the biggest takeaway is like freaking Paradise Smasher is gone. So I think every deck that plays K9 now, you can just play board breakers against it, right? That's another big deal, I think, that you need to realize, specifically because they banned Paradise Smasher and they got rid of Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul was the best K9 version against board breakers because it would keep so many resources in hand. Like, if you evenly or Dark Ruler or whatever a K9 Vanquish Soul deck, it doesn't win you the game because they just have like 6 cards in hand, and then like you start playing and they still have like Holy Sue, Caesar, Raisin, all that stuff, right? They have a crazy amount of interruption still. Even after you board breaker them, right? And with that version suffering the most, every single K9 combo deck is probably going to be relatively weak to board breakers because K9 just creates large boards but doesn't really have a crazy amount of negates, right? Like you make like Ripper and the K9 forced release, and then the other, like whatever, the other like Memento board or whatever, but like you can Dark Ruler that. You like the Crystron K9 board, for example, if it cannot go for Paradise Smasher, you can Dark Ruler that deck, and they have like the trap left, the Crystron trap, and they have the forced release left, and like an Azuna in hand. But that's like playable, right? You can play through that. And that's, I think, a big deal with this ban list too. So overall, I like it. 8 out of 10. I'm very excited for YCS Lil now. I'm going to focus on my regional tomorrow for the current format one last time. But then I think I'm really excited to jump into the new format. I have I have the ban list is in effect on Monday. I have locals on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm probably gonna go to both, and I'm probably gonna record both of them as well. So yeah, I'm streaming on Sunday, but on Sunday I have a Master Duel Challenger Cup, Asia versus EU, which on the one hand I'm excited for. On the other hand, I kind of wish I could do TCG now. But it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Maybe I'll, depending on how long it takes, I might just do like a normal stream after. We'll see how it goes. If it's not the Asia versus EU sometimes doesn't go that long, so if it only goes like 3-4 hours, then I might just do TCG after.